Kennedy was 29 when he was elected to the House. He looked like he was about 15. He was an impatient, ambitious, driven person, not particularly interested in the mechanics of the legislative process.
He wins again in '48, but he doesn't like being a member of the House. In fact, he says, we were a bunch of worms there.
And he even said after a couple of years, he says, I'm ready to leave the House. It's sort of up or out. You know, he was not interested in making a career of it.
And so he runs for the U.S. Senate. Kennedy, because he had so much charm and was so articulate, and of course, once again, Joe Kennedy put an awful lot of money into the campaign, he won the Senate seat.
Particularly in terms of his Senate career, he was a person of significant talent, great intelligence, a great historical sense. But he didn't fit in smoothly with the Senate of his time. He treated people well. Even when he disagreed with class and with dignity. But also, people found him a cool, distant personality. He was not one of the boys. He didn't socialize really with senators for the most part. And Lyndon Johnson was very quick to say, you know, Kennedy has a lot of smarts with his Harvard education, but when you need someone in the trenches to actually get stuff done, he's not going to be around. He's flying around the country, focusing on other things. I don't think he had the sort of basic patience that you need to be a great legislator. And then I think by 1956, his political career completely turned around. His book, Profiles in Courage, was widely praised and became a bestseller.
We are selecting here today the man who, for the next 4 years, will be guiding for good or evil, for better or worse, the destinies of our nation and, to a large extent, the destinies of the free world.
Kennedy almost became the vice presidential candidate for Adlai Stevenson in '56. He was the darling of the Democratic Convention. Kennedy got involved in issues more seriously during the Senate. You know, he became a much more forceful speaker, a more confident speaker. During his Senate years, there's a definite maturation that occurred.
And from there, he was keenly interested in moving on to run for president because, again, he wasn't terribly interested in being a legislator. And there are no bills that you can cite that came out of the Congress during his years in the House and the Senate, which carried his name and identified him as, you know, a successful legislator.
I'm just saying that it's the center of power, not power. I mean, I'm not talking about person. I'm just saying the center of action, it's the more precise term, is the presidency. Now, if you're interested, which many, many people are, not just me, the presidency is the place for it to be, in the sense of if you're going to get anything done.
The thing that we don't always appreciate is the Senate has not been the best road to the White House. Before Kennedy succeeded in 1960, the only other sitting senator to go directly to the White House was Warren Harding in 1920. And since Kennedy, the only senator to have gone directly to the White House is Barack Obama.